Welcome to the North Witch Podcast with your hosts Azariel Flame and Sandra Von Holland. In this podcast, we explore all the things that can help us to be better and improve our lives in body, mind, and spirit. Looking at everything from witchcraft, sorcery, woo-woo, spirituality, biohacking, the mundane, and everything in between. We occasionally have on guests from various backgrounds, practices, and philosophies. We welcome everyone from all walks of life, from the left-hand path to the right-hand path, from the medical to the holistic, from the woo-woo to the scientific, and everything in between. We have conversations and discussions about our experiences over the years, what works for us, what hasn't worked, and explore new theories and science, trying them out, seeing what works, and debunking what doesn't. Thank you for joining us on this wicked adventure along the crooked path as we adventure into the mysterious and wonderful world and welcome what truly works for us to become better witches, sorcerers, magicians, and our best selves so that we can live our best lives. May these conversations help you to ignite the light within. The views expressed by our guests on this podcast do not necessarily reflect the views of us here at Northwich Magic Co. All of the information shared on this podcast is anecdotal and shared for entertainment purposes only, and does not constitute medical or financial advice. Always consult a doctor, physician, or professional in their field before trying any of the things that may be discussed on this channel. Magic and holistic healing should work alongside allopathic care when necessary.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our next exciting episode of the Northwich Magic Co podcast. And normally Azariel says this, so this is all new to me, and he might need to edit this. Here's
No.
Today we have my lovely friends from All in Alignment, Anita Adrian and Cheryl Bitsko, and they are the Feng Shui queens. The queens of my Feng Shui world anyways, and I'm super excited to be having them as guests on the podcast to learn all things Feng Shui. Welcome, ladies.
Oh man, thank you. And I hate to break it to you, I'm going to burst your bubble right now. You're not going to learn all things Feng Shui in one podcast.
Right?
Yeah, we'll have to come back and back and back and back. Anyways, but
and like take a
today
lifetime
we
of it.
could focus on creating sacred space, maybe what that looks like.
Right?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Either way, we're excited to be here.
Yes, thank you. Mm-hmm.
That's so fun. So I think we should start. Where do we even start? Because Feng Shui is so big, right?
How about with your experience?
Mm-hmm.
And we won't even worry about the term Feng Shui.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah, because how did we meet? Right? How did we meet? And I know, Sandra, that your word for this year is ripple. And I really think that, it's just such a profound statement, but it also represents and exemplifies so much of what does happen in all of our lives when we become aware and think back and go, oh yeah, because I put the rock over here and then that went like this and then that happened and then this happened and then this happened. And then pretty soon I'm in a tsunami. And so, yeah.
It is so good, isn't it?
It is. Because I think the first time you met Sandra was somebody had referred you to her for having some something done, some engraving or something.
Actually, we met at a community trade show.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Right. We did.
And then it just started. So
and then it just started. We started our own ripple.
Yeah.
So then we got to have a class when we had our shop in town. We got to have a class with the lovely ladies. And I participated as a student in the class and got, I don't even know, almost addicted to the amazingness of Feng Shui. And just how you walked us through and implemented some things and we learned, and because we did a 2-day event.
Yes.
So it was so aha moments, like just jam-packed of aha moments. And so for me personally, I was stuck in some grief with my grandparents, and we walked through that and how to clean out those energies And in my house, the way it was, of course, to understand the Bagua map and all that, it's a whole nother thing, but
Yes.
we'll just take it for what it was. We'll just shorten the story. So we cleaned out Grandma's stuff out of the garage, which is my travel zone. And within that week, I actually won a cruise.
Mhm.
So I was like,
What?
so ladies, guess what happened? So that was my first real, holy crikey, this is some good shit.
You know what we call that? We call it a holy shift moment.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
So yeah, you had a holy shift
Shift
moment,
moment,
and it was
yeah.
so cool for us to watch that,
Yes.
because really what happens in that holy shift moment is that you it's kind of like that law of attraction at
Mhm.
work in a sense,
100%.
but it's also intention.
Yes.
And it is, at the end of the day, it's about increasing your frequency, your vibration. So then we know that the universe matches your vibration. And so before, you were in a little bit of a dense, stuck energy. And by physically releasing some of those items that belong to the grandparents, then what it did is that emotional baggage was also released at the same time as releasing that physical energy.
Mhm.
And then it goes and it opens up space for the universe to say, yeah, I want to bring Sandra a gift. Yes, she made room. Yay. How cool was that?
It was so cool. Seriously, so cool.
And then and you should share the story, because I love what happened to her after that with the office.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh,
because then we went on and on,
then
right?
we
Because
went
we
on.
did the
She
office one.
participated. Yeah. You share the story. It's better coming from you because you
Oh, no.
experienced it.
Come on, you tell, and then I'll help.
Well,
I'll
we
elaborate. I'll
continued with the
sprinkle in.
class. We created a class specifically for your team.
Yeah.
In which we were talking about utilizing the Bagua, which, as Sandra has already mentioned, that in itself is a learning.
Mm-hmm.
And I took it upon myself to recreate her office layout in the, at the time, physical retail space you were in. And it was so funny because when your daughter caught wind that you were ready to do some work in there, I think she was there before you were.
Oh, she sure was. She sure was. And it's so nice to have the eyes from you ladies, because you see things so differently than what we do in our humdrum everyday lives. We just, it is what it is, but it isn't. And then you show how it can be.
Yeah, the possibilities are amazing when we stop hiding, for one, when we let people see us, and we now are positioned to see what's coming at us. Because the way your office had been set up, you didn't know what was going on behind you.
Totally.
You couldn't see any opportunities coming towards you because you had your back to it. And as we shifted your positioning in the office, now you could see everything, every opportunity, every possibility coming at you and in the door. And that makes such a huge difference, right? It's like you can go for a walk, but if you're focused on your phone, you miss the bird. You miss the diamond ring that's laying on the ground right beside you that someone coming the other direction who's actually paying attention picks up and benefits from.
Yeah.
So that's the difference in our positioning sometimes, whether it's in an office, in a home office, in a retail space, right?
Mm-hmm. And then what happened after that? Because that we're still rippling.
Yeah. Oh, and it's still rippling.
Mm-hmm. It's still rippling, because every day it ripples. It's
yeah.
Azariel kind of giggles at me sometimes because I'm like, oh, well, we got to change this zone because I have the Bagua map up in the new store, and I try really hard to do the zones and
right.
your listeners are going to say, well, what the heck are they talking about? And so we could give them just a real brief synopsis.
Let's maybe do that so we have some understanding.
The Bagua is actually a energy tool that we use to map the meridians of the home. And when we go under the premise that everything is energy, that we are all connected to everything. So everything that shows up in our physicality, personally, and in our space is vibrating at a specific energetic frequency. And so by using this meridian map, or this what we like to call it, the treasure map, we actually can then magnetize or amplify the energy in one of 9 fundamental aspects of one's life. And we all, intrinsically want to feel holistic, and we want to have great relationship. We want to have prosperity. We want to have purpose. We want to be connected to some spirituality. We want to have health. We want to have great family relationship. And so the treasure map, as we call it, helps us to anchor or affirm those energies in any space so that we can create sacred space, so that then we feel more holistic. And it's just amazing.
Yeah, you got that balanced feeling. Your home now becomes your sanctuary, your sacred space, your office. You're happy to go in there. You're not dreading the thought of going to work in this hole, so to speak. Right. So by using and shifting those energies, and the fascinating part about it, and we've used the Bagua for a long time, and it doesn't lie. Doesn't matter who we teach it to or what program we're working on, when people realize, oh man, there's no wonder I can't find a person, a relationship. My area is out in the cold, or it is stuffed so full, there's no room for another relationship.
Right. The energy's stuck.
The energy's stuck.
And so really, Cheryl and I have been trained to read the energy of the environment. And I think you had mentioned that earlier, Sandra. And it's a fascinating that we can help, people like you, our student, our client, to shift the energy so that, hey, then you get to be in the flow. And I mean, you've had all kinds of wonderful things happen. And I mean, we can't always,
claim that it's because of us. We'd like to.
We think it is.
I think honestly, for me, it reset my trajectory.
Yes.
Quite honestly, I just, and me, when I say we, the store was kind of stuck, and I was stuck in any success mode. And you don't really understand it. You feel like you're doing the things, the personal development, the gratitudes, you're doing the things, but still there's no flow. And then what a wide open new can of worms, really, that you ladies open up, and you're going, oh. And and I said earlier, it's like an addiction, because it's like, okay, well, what's happening over here? Let's clean that out. And all about, really, like with the clearing the clutter is a huge thing of making the energy flow, because we know everything is energy, right? Absolutely. And so we need to always clear those things out. And just every section goes back to you ladies. And it's so amazing when you're aware of it, how much better we can all do. So I thank you both for that so much.
We're happy to have been part of your journey, because we've watched it. Every time we'd come out to the store, there was more progress. The entire, when you came in, the store shifted, the greeting, then you changed around some of the way the shelving was and the products you were bringing in, and even your roles at the store shifted, if I recall correctly.
Very much. Yeah. Our whole direction has shifted
completely,
honestly.
Right? I'm really curious, because there's another person involved in this podcast that there's been a lot of head nodding and a few smiles, but has not really talked about any of it, the things that happened at the store after we'd been there, whether he liked it or not.
Well, it's definitely just, a major shift. I know nothing about Feng Shui. All of my training is in witchcraft and Western ceremonial magic. So, I mean, we acknowledge energy flow. We know that it's very imperative for things, but it's not nearly as in depth as you ladies get into. And so, there's things that I would set up that would, feel absolutely right based on what I know, and then she'd come behind me and sweep it off into somewhere else. And I'm like, why? And so I'm still learning the why and the how and the reasoning for that. And so it's a definite different paradigm shift, and it's you can't deny that it does cause changes when you actually work in alignment with it.
Great way to talk about it is working in alignment with it.
And it really is, it really is, comes down to our personality resides in the spaces, whether it's at work or at home. And along with that, you can walk into anybody's space and you can get a pretty good snapshot quickly of their personality, of maybe some of their traits, those kind of things. And so there are very few self-development teachers, people that are actually talking about or correlating the shift of energy to come from the outside in. And so, for example, Cheryl, what's that little thing on your desk there? Let's just show them that.
Which little thing?
The BEAR.
Oh,
yeah. We all surround ourselves with these possessions, right? And they can be big, they could be small. And so Cheryl's got this little guy. So where did this little guy come from?
From my favorite greenhouse.
From your favorite greenhouse. Okay. And do you remember the exact day when you bought him? And how were you feeling that day?
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long has he been in your possession?
Couple years.
And so just this one thing, and we all have a whole bunch of things in our spaces, right? So just this one thing has an energetic snapshot in Cheryl's subconscious mind. So she doesn't have to have, her mental awareness right now or every day on that cute little bear, but her subconscious mind remembers how she was feeling, how it made her feel when she brought it into her space. And that contributes to her overall happiness, her overall well-being. And it happens to sit, in her kitchen dining room area on her island. So every day as she circles or passes by this one thing, the subconscious mind goes, oh,
that was such a fun day.
That was a fun day. It was a happy day. And then guess what? That's how she shows up in the world, right?
Yeah. The positive triggers.
Yeah.
Right?
So now imagine though, if this thing that was sitting in a prominent place in her home had an opposite emotional attachment, right? Maybe let's just say hypothetically, this isn't the case, but let's hypothetically, this thing belonged to her ex-lover and she still had it sitting on prominent place in her room. Again, the subconscious mind has an energetic snapshot of the exact moment, the day that thing came into her life, how she was feeling. And then that energetic loop replays. And that's why people then become
complacent.
We become complacent in our own homes because we don't know this stuff.
Right.
However, that's when somebody is stuck energetically. They're feeling overwhelmed. They don't know which direction to go in life because they're having all of these subliminal messages coming at them constantly every day. Subliminal meaning related to the subconscious, with no awareness. And then all of a sudden, it's like, then they start looking outside themselves and, oh, I've got to go, see the guru and take a Jack Canfield course, or I got to do this, so people are constantly searching and seeking for this outside inner joy. And meanwhile, it actually could happen from the outside in, simply by recognizing what energetic loops are replaying every day. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. And that's why we all need a date with you two, because once you open that up,
yes,
and you make it all of us aware, oh my goodness, just the difference is
night and day.
It just really is. And like I said, it started me on a completely different trajectory. And some days we are not all perfect at this by any means.
We're not.
Lifelong
we're
learning,
still
right?
experiencing. We still have clutter. We're still learning.
We have holy shift moments all the time. Yeah.
Well, and us moving the store out to our property, of course, our house got kind of chaotic with the move. And then it's like, now we're finally settled and we get to get back to this. It's like, it feels so different when the energy, we get to shift the energies now. And it's amazing.
It is. And everybody's experienced a point in time. And I'm going to put you on the spot, as Ariel. You've walked in someplace and went, oh, get me out of here. You've sensed intuitively, you knew that the energy in that space wasn't where you wanted to be at that moment. Am I correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, we've all sensed that. We've also walked into a room where the two people are smiling because you came in and you know that they just had one hell of an argument.
Right? You can totally feel that.
You know that. Well, our homes are no different. Our office, our space it's all energy. But now, when you have the awareness that those possessions that you surround yourself with are affecting how you feel, are affecting how you show up in the world, then holy shift moments happen.
And really, when you go back to the Bagua, right, the treasure map that we like to use, now you can start to intentionally organize and arrange your possessions so that they support you in magnetizing, so that, Cheryl has something that reminds her of being happy and joy-filled in every room of her home. So it's not just here in the kitchen and the dining room, so that those possessions are helping her to be uplifted every day, those subliminal messages. So then the energetic loop is quite different. And I have to share a little story with you, because Cheryl mentioned that, we're always learning. We're constantly
we do our own work.
Producing programs. I mean, we have a decluttering program I know that we want to talk about, but that we actually walk through with our participants. We do the work. And I had one of those holy shift moments.
I just love that. I love that.
Yeah, and that's ours, by the way. That's TM'd, just so you know.
I love
that. So a couple of programs ago, I had one of those things. And going from the garage into our home, I have the door that comes from the right. You park the car in the garage and go in the house. And over top of the doorway, I had a crucifix up there. And that crucifix was a wooden one, whatever. And it belonged, I think, to my mother. It used to be in our family home when I grew up. And we always had a crucifix over the doorway, because I grew up a strict Catholic and with, my upbringing. And so that was a symbol, right? Symbol of that religion, of that upbringing. But it also, the belief was that when you put that over your doorway, that it would ward off any evil from coming into your home. And so years ago, I think the priests even used to come and bless the home and the crucifix and hang it up, whatever. I don't know. Anyways, we're doing our decluttering program, and this came into my awareness that I had this, and I'm like, okay, do I love it? No. Is it serving a purpose in my life? No. What emotion or what feeling is attached to that thing? And I mean, all of these memories come up of going through that upbringing, of which as an adult, I choose not to participate in that religion or whatever anymore. So it really, the symbolism of it was disempowering for me. And one of the mantras or the things that, we learned growing up in that environment was that in church, we would say this over and over again, repeat it as a young child even, right? So it was ingrained in my subconscious. I'm not worthy to receive you. Only say the word and it shall be healed. So that one thing that was hanging up over my doorway was anchoring and reaffirming a disempowering belief that I had carried with me since childhood. So by taking that item and having the full conscious awareness and conversation with it to say, that is not my belief, that's not my story, and I no longer want to carry that and or this possession with me forward into the future. And so you think about how many people maybe have similar stories or situations where there was a belief or something that we were taught that we took on from somebody else. And there could be one possession in your home possessing you, possessing and taking up space in your subconscious that is keeping you and making you feel less than. In my case, it was, right?
Worthy.
You are not worthy to receive because
So
somebody
powerful.
else has to tell you that you're worthy to receive, right?
Yeah.
So, whoa, holy shift, right? And again, that came only through us teaching one of our programs, and we have that happen all the time. So we're constantly growing, changing, learning, and shifting.
That's what I love about it, is that it just plays into our lifelong journey, right?
Exactly.
Of just being better. And my word, the ripple. So we just continue our ripple.
The ripple.
It's so good. When you said that about the things we bring, what I learned also, another thing from you ladies, was I have a big clock on our wall. Like the whole wall is the clock, and it's about it says the best moments are spent, the moments with family, something like that. And it has everybody's picture. Well, I always had my grandma and grandpa and my dad on it. And so they always had to have the important spots. Because once again, stuck in my grief, right? And I thought I always had to have them and honor them. Well, since I've understood that we don't need to do that, and I've changed those photos to actually our family and all the different fun moments, it feels like to me that we've created more fun moments, because now it's almost like a game of putting more new pictures up of what else we've done with like Azariel's littles. And I don't know, it just, every little thing changes so much and changes the trajectories of things. So that's just another aha moment I had with you ladies.
And those are, it's exciting when you have them, because in that moment, everything shifts. Everything shifts. We've had so many different clients and students over the years that have had those moments. And it is such an honor for us to be a part of that, because we can literally, if we're with someone, we can see it. We can see their energy completely shift when they go, holy smokes, holy shifts.
Yeah.
Right. It's pretty fun.
Yeah. So, you know, it really is, it's blessed work that we do. It really is. And I mean, well, I can't even call it work, maybe. It's blessed play that we do, because it, you know, yeah, we're just help shifting, because really at the end of the day, what are we all here for? Right? We're all here to shift the energy of the planet, the consciousness, so that we can all elevate ourselves, so that we get to a place of having peace on earth, a place of collaboration, of community, of collectiveness. And we're not going to do that if we're holding on to the right? The possessions, and holding on to those limiting beliefs and all of that dense energy that's weighing us down. And so we really need everyone to have those holy shift moments, because we need you.
It's so exciting to be able to see all the holy shift moments. Like, and you ladies are starting a huge ripple, like crazy. The ripple.
Tsunami.
We like that. She calls it a tsunami. I'm good with wading in. I don't want to get hit that hard with a tidal wave, but it goes back to, for me, it's a reprogramming. It's a rethinking about how we perceive things. So in our Feng Shui Fridays that we do live on Facebook, you'll see us wearing different glasses. I never even thought to grab some, because we want people to start looking at their environment, looking at their spaces through energetic eyes. But what comes to me is that it's not just about the possessions in front of us as much as it is about the beliefs about those possessions. And some of the work you guys are doing are shifting, in my opinion, the belief systems and the perspective, even with the title of your business and what you share, right? It's Hollywood and anything else that wants to program has had a negative connotation, right? Let's not talk about this. Oh my God, that's off limits. Religion, everything else. We interviewed a friend of ours, Laura, who her parents lovingly called her a witch as a little girl. And when we were having that interview, it caught me. It was like, really? Because it brought to my forefront my definition and my belief, but it wasn't my belief. It was what I was told to believe.
Somebody else's.
Right.
Right. What a witch is. It was bad. Well, no, they're the all-knowing ones. They're the wisdom keepers. They're right. So looking at our beliefs behind the possessions is really where the gold mine can lie.
And now you guys do have a course coming up that is kind of all about beginning to recognize that, right?
You betcha.
Yeah. And actually we have some repeat contenders, whatever you want to call them. We've had people go through our 21-day decluttering program 3 times, because they've had so much holy shift moments happening. And we actually help them. We help them to realize where there's a limiting belief, where there's something that's being stuck in that physical energy that's also stuck up here, so that they can release and let go of it. And I think the biggest thing that we hear back from all of our participants is that they love the community. They love that beautiful, nourishing, safe community that we, give them that space to do that work. We're not there saying every day you got to do this, this, and this, and this. We just go with the flow. We let them come to those realizations of what areas they want to work on and what it means to them and all of that kind of stuff. And then the other thing that we hear back from our repeat contenders attenders is that they love the accountability.
The accountability is huge,
because you know what, we all have stuff, and we've been programmed. This is the big part. We have been programmed for as long as we've had television. They have been
telling you
putting subliminal messaging so that our level of success has to be measured by how much stuff you surround yourself with and keep up with the Joneses. And you don't even know that you have been programmed, but we've been programmed for the last 40 something years.
Absolutely.
Right? And so, and we think, oh, if I buy this, it's going to make me happy. Oh, but okay, that didn't work. Oh, well, then I'm going to go buy this because that'll make me happy.
I'll feel better.
Yeah.
Because on the TV, it said at 10 o'clock when I was watching, it said, oh, just go over here and buy this and buy that, right? We're getting all this bombardment of energy. And I mean, so yeah, we go back to helping people with this overwhelming amount of stuff. How can we then start to shift our life and deal with some of this stuff? And we do it in this safe community place. We do it with accountability. We do it with love and nourishment and coaching.
Yeah.
And we help, again, to release some of those limiting programs so that we can insert a new program that says, yay, I'm in the flow. I got things happening for me.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you ladies make it such an easy process as well. And so many, I don't know, until you know, you just don't know. And it just sounds lame saying that, but it really is. Like, we don't know the limiting beliefs that we actually have until you start the process.
You don't.
And then once you are aware of it, it's like, wow, how did I even think that? And it just goes, one leads to the next, It's,
where did that come from?
Yeah.
When we did the original decluttering program, I have to share this story.
Yeah,
you know the story. I chose our garage. Now, we've been in this house for, at that time, over 20 years. Okay. So you get the picture. You guys have been out on the 40 acres for a while. So there was a drawer in the garage that you couldn't open. Like, it was and curse and wiggle it and maneuver it, and finally it might come open. So I said, that's it. This is my nemesis, and I'm going to be the victor. So I took it upon myself when we did our first program. This is getting done. So I set up, got my music going, the things that we teach, get yourself into a great spot. And I get the drawer open after some work, and I start pulling stuff out and pulling stuff out because it was stuffed full. And I came across a bag, I kid you not, of spikes. Now, you guys are on the farm. You would have a pretty good idea to have why you would have spikes around. Okay?
Totally.
I live in a city.
But you never know.
That's exactly what it was. How long have oh my God. And then I had this
holy shift moment.
And I opened the drawers. There's a cabinet underneath the drawer. So I opened the two doors up, and there was a container. And on this old paint can that was dried was written on, "Do not throw away." And it was in my dad's handwriting.
Nice.
So now all of a sudden I get this flood of memories. When I was 18, before I left the house, we were on a farm. He made a toolbox for me, and he gave me all of these things just in case I need it someday. I had been hauling and moving that paint can and those spikes for 40 years.
But it says do not throw away on it.
And I never came across a situation that I needed spikes. So the holy shift wasn't just, I have had these for 40 years. It was, whose belief is that?
Yeah.
Well, my dad was from a family of 12. They grew up in the 30s. They kept everything.
Because you might need it someday. Right?
We're in a pretty affluent society now, I would think. So yeah, it was pretty easy to release that stuff when I came to that aha moment.
But the other part of that, Cheryl, So every time, like you said, it was your nemesis. So
Yeah.
every time you went in the garage, again, that
Yeah.
feeling. So you didn't
Yep.
even know about the belief until we started working
Digging.
through it with the program. And you didn't even know that belief was running in your subconscious mind or programming, because, you know, it's like we got to do a defrag once in a while, you know, and we haven't been taught to do that except on our laptops. And so then you got to that point, but then, you know, how did it make you feel every time you had to find something in that drawer or go to that spot in the garage? Like, you know, really, how
Annoyed.
did it make you feel?
Annoyed.
Okay. So is that a good feeling to have every day repeated, right? Again, there was that energetic loop. So annoyed, frustrated, annoyed, frustrated, annoyed.
Yeah.
Oh, that's how I'm going to show up in the world. I'm going to be annoyed because I'm waiting in line. I'm going to be annoyed, right? You see what I mean? See how that
Yeah.
shows up as how we show up in the world, just from one little subliminal messaging. And then the other part of that was now, because of the work that we do, you got clear on that limiting belief that you didn't even know was operating in your operating system. So now you got to pull that out and look at it and say, oh,
Yeah, that's no longer serving me.
that's not my belief, right? And so, but again, then you start to look around and say, how many other places in my life or times in my life did that belief show up that I might need it someday? And then how many times did that block me from having other opportunities come in because I was so cemented in holding on to something that I might need someday? Meanwhile, the universe had this other gift waiting over here, but it couldn't give it to you because there was no room for it because you're holding on to, I might need it someday. And the stuff that wasn't serving a purpose, that you no longer loved, that no longer made you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Ah. Tsunami.
Holy shift!
Right? Like,
Yeah.
holy shift.
I know.
Yeah.
So that actually leads in pretty good to my main question for everybody this season, because we all do these things that, you know, people might call woo woo or a little bit out there or whatever. And, you know, there's no way that, you know, moving my kitchen table could make my life better or, you know, whatever it is. Right. So what I'm asking all our guests this season is, what are 3 simple things that our listeners could do that if they did that, they would notice an immediate or a profound change that would benefit anyone?
Wow.
Ooh.
Great question. I would say, first thing, I would say, take a look around your space, whether it's your home, your office, your vehicle. And if it needs a clean it.
Well, yeah. And I mean, we always say the first step is to declutter, right? But there is a process in knowing how to do that. And as we found out in this last program from some of our participants, that they were really, really good at organizing clutter. Ah, okay. So the first
That's a
thing
whole
is
nother chapter.
Oh, you know it, girlfriend. And I'm the queen at organizing clutter.
yeah. So you can organize clutter, but absolutely. But, you know, again, the first step is, you know, that decluttering. And then the second thing I would say is, just like we showed you with the bear, right? Really get into your conscious brain and start looking at some of those things that you surround yourself with and say, how does this make me feel? And really simply, you can say, does this bring my energy up? Does this bring my energy down? Is it energy neutral? Okay. Because you want to surround yourself with the things that bring your energy up, that make you feel good, that recall memories of love, appreciation, you know, joy, all of that kind of thing. So that would be, you know, number 2, right?
Number 3, depending upon where you're at when you watch this, just close your eyes for a moment. You can hit pause. And without looking down at the screen, open your eyes and see what is directly in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason we have people do that is directly in front of you, wherever you spend time, is what we call prime real estate. So if you want something, a relationship in your life, if you want success, if you want a healthy body, the places that are right in front of your face, literally, where you spend a lot of time, is where you need to intentionally place those items or those images of what you want to bring into your life.
Yeah.
So that you're doing the programming.
So you're impressing an idea, or what I like to say, impregnating the subconscious mind with an idea or a thought that you want to bring forward to you, because where our eye goes, energy flows. Where energy flows, that's where our intention goes. And guess what? Those programmers, those guys, they've known it all along. You go into any box store, and within your eye's view, they are going to put the most expensive items on the shelf for you there. They don't put them up here because you don't look up. They put the lower priced ones down here. And
or the kids stuff.
If you have children, I have grandchildren, right? So they know how to get into the minds of those little people too. And they put things specifically at their eye level that their little brains go, oh, I want that, Grammy, right? So we've already been programmed. So why can't we program ourselves in our own home, right?
With what we want.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, we're in corrals now.
Sense.
When you go to pay, you're in a corral. Talk about being herded,
right?
Direction.
Well, and you know what?
Surrounded by impulse.
Here's a prime example of that third thing, right? The third thing of just really be aware of what's in your view or the other people in your home. I worked with a client one time. They were having trouble in their marriage, in their relationship. And in the master bedroom, the husband's view, okay, the thing that he looked at every night before he went to bed, and the thing that he saw every morning when he woke up, guess what it was? Any guesses?
His mother-in-law.
No, he was looking at the toilet.
Oh.
And guess what? He had a real shitty attitude.
Oh.
And possibly bladder issues.
Oh, you know, because that's what the subconscious was being programmed with every night before he went to bed. And every morning when he woke up, that was the first thing he saw.
Crazy.
Or you sit at a computer all day, and when you look up, you see a wall. Just ask yourself, do you feel like you're hitting a wall often? So
that actually makes really good sense. That's what my desk stares at.
Yeah. And are you feeling that way?
Absolutely.
All right. So
and we haven't decorated around your computer.
Well, and it can also be, we teach about the command position in spaces, right? So when we shifted your desk at the store, we took you from hitting a wall, turned you around so you were in command of everything going on in that space.
So you could see what was
coming at you.
Boy, we might have to have the ladies do the new shop. See, around my computer, I have my vision board. And I have my first sign that I just like totally see right here. It says fear is a fucker. And I look at that every day because fear has held me back for so long. And when it all goes back to you ladies, where it all started. And seriously, fear is a fucker. Fear is a liar. Like, so I see that every day. And here we are, we have our own podcast because Azariel was after me for 2 years to, Mom, let's do a podcast. And I'm like, nobody will care what we have to say. I am not good enough. And it was all me. It was not him. I knew he was good because I'm his mom, of course. So I just think he is, but I didn't have it. And then I got to be a guest on another podcast and I came back and I'm like, why are we not doing a podcast? Oh my gosh. So from then, this sign is like, fear is a fucker.
So now here's an option. If you're continuing to hit that fear word, if you're feeling like that, maybe a reverbage and a remake, and you probably know somebody in the sign business
Maybe.
that could shift the energy around that sign. Because
Mhm.
how does that statement, how does that sign make you feel? Does it lift your energy?
It actually does. It makes me feel like a warrior princess, really. I'm
Okay.
like,
Oh, so
Like,
why not have a
totally-
So
sign?
why not have a sign of a warrior princess?
we
Or
better
just
print
begin?
Wonder Woman or something, Josh.
There you go.
Yeah, and you know what? And just say that, you know, you are fearless, right?
Yes.
Fearless.
Fearless. Totally.
Fearless would be a better word to lift your energy than the word
Totally.
fear,
Yeah.
right?
So
you
good.
are a
See, the
fearless.
little wee things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because again,
it's
you know,
just like-
words are energy, that's power, that's frequency, all of those.
Totally.
And I mean, we see so many things, we see so many words around, you know, those images. And our subconscious mind is processing 60 to 80,000 thoughts a day, and we
Yeah.
don't even know what those are. We're aware of 5 to 10% of them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the programming, right?
Yeah.
Time to defrag, disk
Yeah.
clear. Let's clear the disk.
What were you going to say, Azariel?
I was just going to say, it's like when we made the new sign for the new shop, the first thing that you see when you walk into our store now is Carpe Omnium, which is seize it all in Latin. And so it's, you know, the world is ours. We're going to seize it all. We're going to,
Perfect.
we are in control of everything that happens in this building. And it's, you know, it definitely changes my mindset every day I go to work now.
Right.
Whereas, you
So
know,
when
the
you're
old,
it's empowering to walk in and see that. That's a welcoming sign.
Mhm. Yeah.
Good observation.
And then the other thing about that is your subconscious mind has the energetic snapshot or imprint of that exact moment when that sign went up and how you all felt and that moment. And it felt great and it felt
exciting and enlivening and
right. So
It
that
seriously
energetic
was a super
snapshot
cool
is
moment.
there. It's anchored.
great.
Yeah.
Well, look at
Yeah.
your faces right now.
Yeah.
Super
Oh,
cool
yeah.
moment.
We were so.
well, and
it was-
it's interesting too,
really was
because our
great.
old store's in town and I walk by it almost every day. And as soon as I see where our old sign was and I see the even older sign that was underneath that is showing now, all it does is, you know, I don't even want to be near there. And so just the main sign that I walk in underneath every day going to work, just that alone has been a massive shift in mentality and, you know,
Energy.
progress and change.
Yay. Yay.
Absolutely.
Our work here is done. Or not.
Well,
It's
I
just
don't
getting
know.
started.
Well,
Yeah.
it's only just begun because now, see, Azariel
getting
just
started.
had a holy shift moment, right?
Yeah.
He didn't,
Mhm.
because he always is like, I don't know about your feng shui stuff, right?
Mhm.
Here he didn't know it, but he
He was
experiences
practicing.
it without knowing it.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
that's super cool.
Well, I'm very sensitive to energies, and so I can generally pick up on those things. But you know, the other thing too, then I did have a question from a Patreon listener, and it kind of plays really well into this, and especially if you're doing a decluttering class coming up to help, you know, bring in wealth and things like that. And they were wondering if you guys had any tips or tricks for people that have, you know, what's the word, people that are very absent-minded and, you know, they leave things everywhere. And, you know, like me, whenever I'm doing stuff, it looks like a tornado came behind me. And, you know, often my desk will sit like that for weeks. So people that are just, you know, messy in general, other than, you know, just be a cleaner person, what tips or tricks do you have for them? You know, maybe they have children that are constantly making messes in their areas, or, you know, during COVID, a lot of us got really lazy and, you know, the treadmill probably had too many clothes on it, or, you know, that kind of thing.
That's a huge question. And our first question to them is, what results are showing up in your life that you want to change? Because if everything is working perfectly for you and it's exactly how you want it, doesn't matter how messy your desk is. But if you find yourself running late, disorganized, frustrated, right? So what?
Always in a hurry.
Always in a hurry.
Busy, busy, busy. No time for me. And you hear
Overwhelmed.
you know, lots of that sighing and catching a breath. That's going to affect someone's overall health eventually. They may have burnout. chaos,
Mhm.
right?
So our first question is
Mhm.
always, what results are showing up for you in your life that you want to shift?
Mm-hmm.
Because if the results are showing up for them and they're having health issues, for example, what Anita's talking about is our autonomic nervous system works. That's why how it was designed. So if we're always in stress, we are constantly producing cortisol, and that cortisol constantly being produced is affecting our bodies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so
Right.
you're right. What are the results that are showing up? Because some geniuses, they worked better when there was chaos around them, right? And maybe you're one of them. But again, if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling, if there's procrastination that shows up, that could all be a result of having that, that messiness around you.
Mm-hmm.
So again, it's about being mindful. And the thing that your listeners could do is we have a little thing that we call 20 is plenty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 20 is plenty. That's our TIP. 20 is plenty. Set your clock on your phone, set it on your stove. Okay.
Wherever.
And be mindful to take 20 minutes every day, either at the beginning of your day or at the end of your day. If your desk is feeling that way, or if the kitchen countertops are feeling that way, maybe it's the dining room table, maybe it's somewhere in the bedroom. Take 20 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and give yourself the time to go through it and organize it and say, you know what, is this item serving me? What's here? Is there a better way that I could organize all of that paper? Oh yeah, I could go to the dollar store and buy some of those things, right? How could these possessions, how could these things better serve me? Because you know what? They're not here for me. We end up being the servant of our stuff. That doesn't make sense. Everything that we bring into our home needs to be like a little robot that says, hello, Master Cheryl. How can I serve you today? I love you.
Yeah.
And that's what it should be. It's not like, oh, excuse me, you didn't clean me over here today. What are you doing moving me around? Blah, 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 blah. Right? Yeah, that's not the message we
I love her
want.
animation.
Is that lifting your energy up or taking it down?
Exactly.
Exactly.
So
that's the key question. That's
it's
awesome.
a huge question.
That's
because
the tip.
yeah, if something's going on in your office and you're not getting projects done, then the result is you're not getting projects done.
And then you're not getting paid.
Right. So then the importance behind that question is to start your awareness.
Yeah.
It's not about anybody else judging the space. When you can go, okay, oh shit, I'm behind all the time. That's probably because I can't find stuff in my office. So if I get a little bit more organized in my office, then maybe I'll be on time. Right? So it's that ripple.
And we also know from some of those self-development teachers and preachers that repeated action over time equals our results. Right? So say that again, repeated action over time equals our results. So if we don't like the results, then what action have we repeatedly done to get those results? Right? So that the TIP is 20 minutes a day, is repeated action over time is going to produce different results.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not overwhelming. Your 20 minutes is not overwhelming.
No.
We all can do that.
Yes.
We all can do that.
That's so awesome. One little shift every single day. So cool. So then my question, of course, is what ripple, because ripple is my word for 2023, what ripple or tsunami, as Anita
calls it,
saying, what ripple are you ladies hoping to create in 2023?
Oh, wow. That's a great question.
Goosebumps.
Right.
Yeah, we just want to continue to impact the lives positively of the people that work with us in our decluttering program. We are both, first of all, we're co-authoring a book together that will be released this year, but we're also individually writing chapters in collaborative books This one is going to be with who?
Well, Dr. Joe Vitale.
Ooh,
Yeah.
love, love. I knew you when.
Yeah. Oh, here, I'll do that for you. There you go, Sandra.
Nice.
So yeah, we're just gonna, right? Our ripple is just gonna keep going out there in, like I say, we want to impact the lives of more people and let them shift from the outside in.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love, love, love it so much. So
Mhm.
then how can our viewers and listeners find All in Alignment and all your amazing things, ladies?
Well, allinalignment.com, of course, that's the website. We are on Facebook. We have a Facebook group and Facebook page, All in Alignment. We do our Feng Shui Fridays live every Friday. They can actually come on and ask live questions while we're doing one of our programs, which is entertaining to say the least.
Yep, it's fun.
What time is that at? I used to watch it.
9:30 Mountain Time.
All right, perfect.
You betcha. We're on YouTube. We have our YouTube channel as well.
At All in Alignment.
So pretty easy. We like keeping things all in alignment.
Right.
Nice.
Aligning your home, your health, your heart, and your harmony.
Love it.
Mhm.
Love, love, love it.
This was fun. Thanks for having us on. I can see where Azariel's going to be going, Mom.
Yeah, he's got
to have a conversation about feng shui out here.
He's got to edit some stuff now. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely
You had
have
some-
to edit what I'm looking at.
You had some holy shift moments, didn't you? Come on.
Well, no, it was actually a really good thing to, realize, because since we've been at the shop, I love absolutely everything about the shop, but I've been constantly feeling roadblocked with my ideas and what we're doing and things like that. And, as a witch, I'm doing tons of road openers, but I never realized that I was staring at a roadblock, right? So that's a great little tip that I got.
Yay.
Excellent.
Yay, good.
Yay.
Yeah, so how
you
can
know
we
how to reach
shift
us as
those
well.
around?
So
Yes.
that is the main thing. We don't hide.
We'll maybe have to do some sort of live segment of
Yeah.
you switching our shop around and,
Mhm.
getting us all in alignment again.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
know that
That'd
you've
be fun.
already, with our bits that we know, we've implemented, and there's always room to improve and grow. And we love that.
Exactly. And again, it goes, what do you want to shift? What are the results showing up
Yeah.
Mhm.
that you want something different in?
Mhm.
Because we're always changing, we're always growing.
Always.
So like Anita said, feng shuiing we're never done. It is an absolute journey because our lives are constantly changing and shifting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Fantastic.
much, ladies. It was been
You're welcome.
absolutely
Thank
delightful.
you for having us.
That was so cool.
So
Yes,
nice
thank
to
you.
be in your energy.
So good.
Mhm.